Hi guys, my name's Dan from Alpha, and behind me we've recently installed an air source heat pump at this property. Now previously this property had an oil boiler installed and it's undergone quite a deep renovation, and we looked at a new central heating system for the property. So during the renovation it had a few thermal upgrades done to the building, we've had some roof insulation put in, and we've also been fortunate enough to put underfloor heating throughout the property. So that allows us to get a really high efficiency from our air source heat pump that we've installed. Because we're using a larger surface area, we can emit low temperature heat throughout the property. So let's have a little look at the install, and then I'll catch you guys at the end and we'll do a summary of the installation. So I'll talk you guys through the installation process. One of the key parts is running our primary pipework. So our heat pump is located 5 meters away from where our boot room is, and our boot room is where we're going to be installing our pre-pump cylinder. To connect these two together, we've used 28mm copper pipework, and we've used press fittings rather than soldering the joints. We've also cored the holes big enough into the property to make sure we can insulate right the way through the cavity. Heading inside the install, everything in our cupboard comes back to this central location. So we've got our hot and cold pipework, we've got our flow and returns going off to our heating, we've got our potable expansion vessel which provides pressure for our hot water cylinder, giving us a really decent equal flow rate of hot water throughout the property. We've also got this big red vessel here, which is our heating expansion vessel, and that puts our radiator system, or underfloor heating system in this case, under a decent pressure. The system itself has one single pump, so it's a 12.5 metre head Grundfos pump, and that's enough to run this whole heating system. That's pumping the primary pipework, pumping all of the underfloor heating, and everything that we need it to do. So we're inside the property now. We've got our pre-plumb cylinder installed. So you'll see here you've got various pipework going off into the roof space of the property. Being single story, it's really handy because we've managed to run all the pipework in the loft space, and it's all nice and insulated up there as well. So what we've got is we've got our hot pipework, we've got our cold main coming in and feeding the cylinder. We've also got a secondary hot return on this system, so that just means that we get more instantaneous heat around our hot taps, so we don't have to wait for a long hot water draw off. On the cylinder itself, it comes with a wiring interface. And this little control panel really is for engineers to set up the system. Once the engineers installed this, there shouldn't really need to be any amends to this control panel. The system itself for the customer is simply controlled by our Smartech thermostat. Now this can be as simple as you want to use it. If you want to turn the heating up, you just turn the bezel to the right. If you want to turn the heating down, you turn it to the left. You can also program your on and off times, so you can choose which days of the week you want your heating on, which days of the week you want different times, etc. on as well. You can also download our free-to-use phone app from the App Store or the Google Store, and this will let you remotely control the system from your smartphone. So the cylinder itself is really easy for engineers to install. We've simply got a low-loss header style manifold on the side of the system, and that goes off to our heating in our flow, and our heating return comes back into it. There's also an addition to add a secondary zone in as well. So we've got a tap in. So if, say for example, you had underfloor heating downstairs, you had radiators upstairs, you could have 2 zones coming off this cylinder as well. Now the whole system electronically is supplied with a single flex. So that means that one cable here simply goes into the old immersion socket. So we don't need to run any additional power. And that will power the whole interface of the system and the inbuilt immersion heater as well. In terms of communication cables, we simply take one 2-core cable from this interface outside to the heat pump. So it's really simple for electricians to install. The system itself is a 200 litre cylinder. We don't need a buffer with this style system. We just have 30 litres of open volume in the system to allow for defrost. So it's a really simple and intelligent bit of kit to have installed in your property. So guys, the install's completed now. We've got our Alpha Hydro 12 kilowatt unit outside. It's mounted on a concrete pad, and we've used anti-vibration feet. We've also got our primary pipework that runs round the side of the property. It's about 5 meters in total. That brings us into the boot room where our pre-plumb cylinder is installed. This home is now got a renewable heating solution. This is extracting thermal energy from the outside air and providing heat into the property. It does both heating and hot water, and if it's something that you would be interested in a project that you're doing or in your house at home, you can find more information at www.alpha-innovation.co.uk.